And here we are, episode 20 of A Dose of Sinsanity. I am GR3. I am joined by Welshie. Jamilkin's running a little bit late. He might hop in, he might not. We don't know. But we're going to do things anyway without him. So, Welshie, episode 20. What do you think, buddy? 20 in?
20 in, man. And what is it now? 25? No, 20% of the way to the PSGS review.
Yes, we are getting there. And I guess this is episode 19 for you because you've missed one. I'm the only one now that has completed every single episode. So
we can't do one without you, bro. You do the intro, man. We need you for these intros.
You can't do it without the intro. But what an exciting time it is this time of the season. TI time.
Like, it's creeping, man. It's coming.
We started talking a little bit about how the qualifiers started last week with SA in Eastern Europe. Those are concluded now. But Battle Pass is out in full force. We've got the short film contest that is absolutely nuts. Of all the things we're going to talk about this later, but I'm going to talk about this right now instead. Of all the things that Battle Pass has really struggled with this season, short film contest has not. I don't know if you have seen any of those, but there are two that I noticed that I fucking loved.
I watched just real quick. I watched two. I've seen this like anime-looking team fight thing with a Dusa, Sven, and a Life Stealer.
Oh, I haven't seen that one yet. I'm only a couple through.
I'll have to send it to you. And then on top of that, I saw one with a Spirit Breaker.
Oh, was that the multiverse of Spirit Breaker?
Yeah, dude.
Oh my god, I love that one.
Oh, it's amazing.
The thing I liked about that is they didn't just stick to Dota. They actually showed every single like game mode. Like there was fucking auto chess in that. Like it was so fucking good. And like the conclusion of like learning from his mistake and like just ulting behind like that is so great.
Oh yeah.
I loved it. The other one was Life Stealer. There was one. It's titled Life Stealer. It was neat because it was like a realism one, where it's actually like live action. A guy's sitting in a prison and he he tries to consume somebody, becomes the life stealer, and two guards come to check and they see him and then all of a sudden they don't. And they're like, oh, it must be our imagination. And then guy just bursts. Like, yeah, it is crazy. I'm so like I always loved the short films, but it seems like every year they just get better and better and better and better. I'm so pumped about it.
Despite the scene, yeah.
I cannot wait to view the rest of them. So if you guys haven't checked them out, please check them out. They're so cool.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, let's hop in. Qualifier update. So we have two of the qualifiers already finished. SA is concluded. Hikori, whatever. It's Hikori for today. This is our show.
Yeah.
They qualified in a 3-0 over Infamous. Now, couple new names that I'm not too familiar with. I think beforehand you're talking, you weren't. But Lumiere, Analog, Vitali, Theolacour, Gardic. Now, I like Theolacour. I've watched quite a few of his games and seen him and just kind of watch him play. He's a badass.
Mm-hmm.
But pretty solid performance all the way through, in all honesty. 3-0 into the finals over Infamous, who is a very experienced team. They're looking really, really strong. So I can't wait to really see them. But they I believe got 2-0'd by Tempest in the second round and then just made a lower bracket run and just started 2-0ing all the way out. Pretty decisively.
Oh, absolutely. Infamous has direct invite though as well, don't they?
No. These are all regional qualifiers.
Oh, yeah, my bad. Sorry, I forgot this is regional.
None of these. So the way that TI qualifiers are working this season is they have these big tournaments, like regional qualifiers that I believe are run like through Malaysia, it's like Malaysia ESL 1 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like basically it's like Epicenter, ESL, like I'll have all these. and then they have the opens. These are the closed, obviously, and then they have the last chance qualifiers, where I believe specific teams, I don't know how many, get to try again in order to get that last spot. And I think that's all regions, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it is.
Um, yeah, so it's a little bit different, but kind of cool and almost a miniature TI for tier two scene.
It's a TI for TIs.
Yeah, it's cool. I like how they're doing this season. It's something different, more games for your tier two, tier three teams, and you get to see more. Uh, Great games too. And then moving forward, Eastern Europe is also concluded. Bet Boom beating Outsiders with another 3-0. Um, Looking pretty decisive. And once again, we see Bet Boom lost to Navi in the second round, 2-1. And then they take a 2-1 over another team. They move on. They 2-0 the next two, and they end up 2-0ing Navi in the lower bracket finals,
Oh,
and
dude,
then sweeping in the finals.
who was it? Who was the drama we were talking about like 2 weeks ago? Who was
Oh,
Outsiders?
so
I'm go ahead.
no. This was a oh, I think we're talking different things. The drama a couple weeks ago, maybe it was Outsiders. I can't remember.
I think it was Outsiders and Ver. Oh, no, it wasn't Virtus Pro. Who was it? Well, no, it was Virtus
It,
Pro. It was Virtus Pro. I think the ones who like they woke up and were like, "Oh, we qualified for TI."
no. TNC, I think.
Yeah, TNC, who I think is in reality Virtus Pro, but I think like their second roster.
Yeah, I have no clue.
You're good, but it
But
was
yeah,
definitely Outsiders. Was this is the one where like on the DPC breakdown they should have qualified.
yeah, and they're gonna have to go through the
And they 3-0 and they got 3-0'd. OTSD Outsiders got 3-0'd by Bet Boom, and now
yeah,
they're
so they're
second
gonna
place.
now they're gonna have to go through second chance,
Dude,
and anything can happen.
they, imagine if they don't qualify. Like I don't know. That's gonna be such a. This is twice now they've been like inches from qualifying for TI,
I
and then
either of these, like, Outsiders are a good team, but I don't think like SA or EU qualifies over like the Western Europe um lineups. Like, you have Liquid, Entity, Secret, Enigma Galaxy, like Alliance, all in fucking like Western Europe.
yeah, no, you're right.
You have like in China, you have like Extreme, eHome, Aster, Vici, IG, freaking Royal Never Give Up. Like, it's like, I'm sorry, but it's going to be a Chinese team or a Western Europe team. Like, there's no way that any other team makes it.
You got a point.
Like, it's like, you don't like right now is your time. If you don't make it right now, then you're just not going to appear in the NTI. Like,
Very true.
if you're from
I'm
those.
so excited to watch the westerns, though. I'm gonna watch the westerns with all these teams. With what is it,
Western's
Entity?
going to be hype. The teams who don't make it, like, just the second chance is going to be insane. That's going to be a freaking like slaughter.
So talk to me about how
I
that works. Is it like are all regions gonna come together for this last chance?
So let me look at this. So basically, it says there will be 12 teams, two from each region, the second and the third place from each regional qualifier,
Mm.
and then two teams qualify from TI group stage, or for the TI group stage. So what this means is that the second and third place teams. So right now we have Infamous, Tempest, Navi, and Outsiders. Um, and it's going to be an all region, like, just brawl. The top two teams will go. I believe it should be the same format of like a double elimination type deal. Um, I'm not sure. It does not say.
See, now
Uh,
that's gonna be such a slugfest.
yes, it's going to be really cool. Like, just having like Infamous, Tempest, Outsiders, and Navi. Like, those four teams are nuts.
Oh yeah.
And they're not even like the premier teams. Like you're gonna have like um I'm trying to get to the like NA, most likely I still think Sonics are gonna go. But I would love to see like five Rat Force staff, like some of them go.
5 rat force.
Yeah, I will. That's if you remember from the PSGS Invitational,
Yeah.
DNM played in it.
Sure.
And that's got speed as well. So that would be cool. Obviously, there's still things like Wildcard Gaming's pretty decent. You've got Nouns who are having a pretty good run so far. So there are teams who are pretty solid, right?
Yeah.
Um, and that's just from NA, and that's probably the weakest like division.
Yeah.
And
So,
then not to mention you like we said, Western Europe, Liquid Entity Secret, Enigma Galaxy Alliance, like even like Goon Squad's really good with S4, Handskin Limp. Like these guys like it's gonna be nuts. It's going to be so good. And it's like a pre TI. You know what I mean?
well, that's the thing is that it's also taking place, like the last chance qualifiers are taking place in Singapore. So it is a TI at TI in and of itself.
Right.
Right? Like it's
Um
that's interesting to me that they're gonna make teams fly out on the guise of like, hey, this is your last chance to qualify. Fly to Singapore.
well, why the fuck not?
Fair enough. Because teams
You know
struggle.
what I mean?
I mean, I'm with you. Some of these teams don't have any problem paying for it, right? Like I think
Yeah.
outsiders can afford it, right? And I hope Navi has enough money still backed up for him.
Navi's fine.
You get what I'm
Navi.
saying, though. I just think it's interesting that
Yeah.
they're gonna have that. Yeah.
Where the struggle would be like is and it's almost hard to say like five Rat Force because speed is, speed could probably pay for that shit himself.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like there's a few like let's say like CW Sports makes it for whatever reason. Like though I think they're already eliminated. But like teams like that, they're gonna they're gonna struggle for sure. Well,
Oh yeah.
five Rat Force staff still in it actually.
Yeah, dude.
Um, but like Team Dog Champ, I don't know. Like these are not organizations; these are stacks.
Hmm.
So will they have the money to go? Maybe I don't know. Some of these do make it into like minors and things like that, and do have to travel there. So I would imagine they're also playing a shit ton of tournaments. Like I think I saw CW Sports on the what is that new league that's come out TD2L, the Dota 2 league, where they have like the multiple divisions and
Oh
they have
yeah.
the pro series.
Yeah. Yeah.
CW Sports is competing in that as well, so they are doing smaller tournaments, hopefully to pay for that, but we'll see. You know what I mean?
I'm excited for it. I just think I love that this is an organization. I think that in full honesty, I'm more likely to watch the entire bracket of last chance qualifiers than I am to watch the entirety of TI. Like I'll watch the semis and like the finals of TI for sure, but like the last chance slugfest sounds like such a good time. Not gonna lie,
It is going to be hype.
it's
I
so yeah.
cannot wait. Um,
So
Honestly, like we're bound to see some of the best Dota in that. Like, there's nothing like two spots left, 12 teams to like going for it, and all 12 are some of the best teams in like in their respective regions.
yeah,
You know
and
what I
I
mean?
and I always just have to think about it in terms of like, this like last chance determines if you're profitable this year or not. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
get into TI and you're guaranteed some kind of money.
This is one of the few things I think that Valve has done in recents that I'm a huge fan of. Because how many times are we gonna fucking talk about Dog Champ Team or fucking like Five Rat Force or fucking like all like any of these other like teams outside of like Western Europe and shit? Like we're gonna talk about Tempest. Like if it wasn't for Foo, like I would never even know who the hell Tempest is.
Fair.
Like I know who Infamous is, but I only know like a couple like of the players. Like we would never be talking about this if it wasn't for last chance qualifiers. Such a huge fan of this.
Same. I'm just a fan of the fact that tier 2 teams now are actually like being talked about.
Yes.
I will say this right now though, like I'm calling it from here. If Outsiders qualifies for TI in places, well, I'm gonna lose my mind. Not because of any other reason than like, dude, they are the underdog of underdogs of getting like snuffed like at least 3 times now. So I
Did
want to
they
see
get
them like
snuffed? It just feels like people miscalculated and they took the wrong tally from another place.
let's
Like
not get into that.
to,
But I'm gonna
to
say right
me,
now, yeah.
to me, it's the same thing of like last season in 82 all of teams not realizing that they didn't make the cut because of like you know what I mean? Like that it's no difference. Like you understand the rules, you should understand how the point system works. If you're taking your like your information from a secondary source instead of the actual source, then yeah, it sucks. I feel for you. I
That I
really do.
recognize. That I
Like
recognize.
I feel for you. But you didn't get in. You were just short.
Fair. So
Sorry.
fair enough. So I won't go back on this whole debate of what happened there, but at the very least, I will say that like they've been excited thinking they're qualified for TI or that they're gonna or
Yeah,
they've been,
that
they
feels
have
so
been.
bad.
Let's just repeat. Even no matter what you say, the team that beat them out for their spot of the direct invite beat them out by a half point. That is how close that was. And
Yes.
for reference, how big a half point is, Outsiders overall DPC points this season were like in the thousands.
Right.
I want to pull this up because otherwise I'm going to forget it. Well, because I want to know. Let me see.
Like
Western qualifiers. Good.
the interesting thing too is like, yeah, it's close, but then when you have your opportunity, you're that close to a direct invite
Hmm.
and you can't win your regional qualifier. Not
You've got
only
a
that,
point.
you got 3-0'd,
That's an even
which
bigger point.
means
Yep.
which is another like thing of should they have been in anyways? It sucks they didn't, and maybe that was their only chance because, like I said, I don't see them beating the gauntlet that China and Western Europe is.
Yeah, it's getting
Um,
set up for last chance, dude. Oh my
yeah,
god.
like let's be honest, this is like the China Western Europe tournament watered down because we have to allow other regions to be happy.
Oh my
Like you
god,
know what
dude.
I mean?
I didn't even
Like
look. I didn't even look at the what is it at the China qualifiers.
the
Vici is
China
here.
one's
Royal
nuts.
Never Give Up is here. C Deck
Ehome,
is here. Oh god, Invictus is here.
Aster, Vici,
Aster's here.
IG.
Oh dude, no, this is gonna hurt. This is gonna hurt bad.
Oh man. Like I think there was one other like that was I do appreciate Team Saiyan who their offlaner is Son Goku.
Dude, go for it, man.
Um
Let's see.
some of these are nuts. Like these lineups are insane. And you're telling like the biggest thing to think about is between Royal Never Give Up, Extreme, eHome, Aster, Vici, like C-Deck, IG. Some of these teams aren't even going to get to the last, like most of these teams won't even get to the last chance
They're
qualifier.
not even gonna get the last
And
chance, and some of them are so good, dude.
like the thing is, actually now I look at it, these teams are already eliminated.
Yep, a lot of them.
I
Most
forgot
of them
that
are.
I forgot these are already going. So we already know who will be in the last chance qualifier for China.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Because
we
the
already. Yeah.
only three teams that remain is Royal Never Give Up, Extreme, and Vici. So
The point being, I think, is that like the teams they had to slug through were Invictus, C Deck, like eHome, like they're here and they played really well. Like, and they've had to
right.
beat better teams than I think were in Eastern Europe. Western Europe is a question, but NA for sure. So they're gonna have to slug through this, and I think it's just interesting.
The thing that I'm pumped about for like these last ones, I might have to go watch some replays, but I like watching Yang. Like Yang's a beast of a past 5, right?
Oh yeah,
And I still don't think Vici beats Extreme, and I really just want to see like it feels like almost old eHome slash like I think it's IG. Like it's almost like a mix between IG and eHome. With Paparazzi, Old 11, DY, PYW, like against the old LGD. like with Somnus and Chalice and Ex Nova. Like these are gonna like I just want to see Royal Never Give Up and Extreme play another series. It was 2-1 the first time. So whoever comes out of that, and shit, if things stay the way that they are, then Royal Never Give Up is about to get 0-3'd by whoever wins between Extreme and Vici. But still, like you have to get through Vici, Extreme, and or like RNG. Like I'm sorry, but your boys are never gonna make it through that gauntlet.
Yeah.
But the meta is starting to shape. We're probably about halfway through the qualifiers at this point.
It's just been so interesting to watch develop as well because of like just Reddit's predictions of what's broken.
Marcy got dumpstered.
Yeah,
you
dude.
can't play Marcy anymore. Marcy's not a hero. Most played hero so far. I say played because not the most contested, but the most picked hero has been Marcy so far this tournament by 11 others. Like the second is Death Prophet with 37 picks. Marcy has 48. Like it's substantial. And maybe like in the sense of like Death Prophet has been banned more. But like Ember Spirit's up there, which was kind of a shock. You haven't really seen spirits be too big in the meta as of recent. Undying has been picked a lot. Does that surprise you? It doesn't surprise me.
Not at all. Not in the slightest. One thing Reddit got right. The one thing, man.
Yeah. Tiny's still getting picked, but not really winning. Now, we talked a bit about this DP hero. Just me and you.
Yep.
Busted. It's I almost don't want to say busted, but stupid strong. We played against it this last week in 82L when we played Savage Sabers in game 1.
Mm-hmm.
And pretty much got beat by DP alone. Just unkillable, took too many like resources. We had a fucking AA, dude.
And you still couldn't kill it.
And we still couldn't kill her. Like, it's the hero gets so tanky so quick. And undoubtedly, like, had a really great start to the game. Really great start to the game. But that hero is insane. And just like you need you need tower push, just fucking pos 3. Like tower push from pos 3 feels so nice. Like stupid tanky, has a huge AoE silence that feels like you're silenced for all of eternity. And just like I said, like survivability is nuts. Strong laner for the most part. Like you can't play melee heroes into it.
No, there's not an option. So you have to play something that's ranged into it for sure.
Yeah. And like you can 8-pick this bitch and then just literally just range hero like ban in the second phase.
I mean, I feel like it's the way that it was being. The build doesn't change in a lot of ways, though, right? You're still basically building for where people can try to burst you, and if they don't manage to kill you and stop you from healing, which you add an AA, so I'm not going to say how that went, but if she gets off 2 siphons, there's no way you're killing her, right? So you build like Eternal Shroud, Sanj and Kaya, something like that, and you go from there.
The 2 builds that I've seen the most have been like a lot of Falcon Blade, and then going into like phase, and then straight into BKB, and then building off that. And then the other one that I've seen is a mana boots and rush the Octarine.
Octarine.
It's an Octarine rush. I believe I don't think you go Falcon Blade. I think a few have. But people are getting Falcon Blade on her so quickly.
And that's that's understandable to a degree, right?
The last bit's been the Sanj Kaya.
Yeah, see, that's interesting. Falcon Blade we talked about when we were reading the patch and that and a couple podcasts ago, and we thought that it was a buff, but obviously it was still underwhelming because nobody was building it. Does that make it valid?
It's still one of those items. Like it's an expensive item. It's like 1,125, and
it doesn't.
Yes, it gives you 200 health. It gives you 14 damage. It gives you 1.8 mana regen. if you can get it in 3-4 minutes, like a lot of DPs are getting, yeah, I don't mind it. Um, but the problem with the item overall, and the reason why it's not built by so many others, is it doesn't build into anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like make it into like put it like I feel like this is an item with so much potential that you could combine like Falcon Blade and fucking Sanj and make like a tank item or something like that. It like gives status resistance. It increases the health, gives you like there's things that you can do. Or make it like a Falcon Blade and Yasha or something like that, or Falcon Blade and Kaya. Like there's stuff that you can do with these, right?
Oh, for sure.
And just combine them and make a new item. Maybe the next patch we'll get something. Who knows? Like it's always next patch, next patch, next patch.
If they make
But
Falcon Blade able to be broken down, then I think that that's where it's going to get like more picked up. Because when you're able to
yeah,
break down the Falcon Blade, I think you'll see people like
it,
really.
it's it's not a bad item. It stops you. It's an item you're gonna have to sell later.
Yeah.
Um,
It takes an item slot. At some point, it's a hindrance because it takes an item slot up.
right. But let's get a little bit back on track. The most contested hero, that means picks and bans combined, so far has been Batrider
Mm.
with I believe contested in 92.86% of games.
See, now that was something surprising to me because, like, I thought when they removed the small camp, that was going to be a problem for him. But apparently, it's not at all.
Yeah, it's a hero that constantly can control the game, can farm really, really heavy, play aggressive. Like it can be played in two different positions, right? And I'm sure some have played it in like four as well. Like I've seen four Bat Riders,
Oh, for sure. I mean, you can
a
be
solid amount.
you can be so
Um,
annoying by just poking over trees, right?
yeah, but like the hero's just strong,
Yeah.
and there's not a lot of answers to it. Like you have Omni Knight, who's a pretty good pub hero. I don't know how much he's been really contested. Looks like 28 times, so 25% of games he's contested. Um, but like outside of that, like you're not really playing Weavers all that much. You're not really playing like, and Weaver was the standard counter to pick into Mat Riders when it was a big offlaner. You're not really seeing like Abaddon's.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Abaddon's only been contested 10 times. So like you don't have like the Purge like at all. So it's just a hero where you don't have save like that. It's really, really hard to play. And even Shadow Demon's only been contested 4 times. Like these big save heroes, like Oracle's only been contested 3.
Mm-hmm.
They're just not being picked.
In reference to a Bat
So
Rider, particularly, that's interesting because, well, at the same time, we to me, Bat Rider always interesting because he's a lot of what he does is countered by a Lotus Orb, right? So, like,
sure.
do you pick a hero who immediately deals with it so the Bat Rider doesn't get off the ground, or you just know that you can build like a 4,000 gold item, which admittedly is still 4,000 gold, right?
Well, Fleming Lasso is a strong dispel.
Really? So
Yes.
so it's
Which
not
which
broken
is
by
why
Lotus.
which
Okay.
is why you need like Omni Knight and
Okay. Okay.
Abaddon.
Gotcha.
Um but no, it's not broken. And Lotus is still good, obviously, because of Flame Break and Sticky Napalm.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, it's the ones that are typically really, really good into it are just not being picked up and just really aren't strong in the meta. Venge is another one that I haven't really seen too much of. And then the last one that was like, if you remember quite some time ago, was Warlock. Warlock's only been picked up 6 times.
Oh
And
yeah.
that was the patch where it was like, you pick Warlock, you pick Batrider. Like, if you can get them both, you win. But it was like, neither care about the other. At least you have like Rock to stop the Batrider initiation. But like, it, Batrider's just kind of one of those heroes that stands on his own. There's just not a lot to deal with him right now.
It's just another automatic like BKB piercer too, right? Like
Mhm.
you automatically deal with BKBs. They're not a problem for you like as much anymore when they get them on the core that they're depending on. Like, I mean, I love the hero. I think it's effective at every point in the game, which is the biggest point, right? Is that you need a hero who does shit at every single point in the game.
Right.
Bat Rider is
The
definitely like one of the definitions of that. Always
la-
effective.
the last hero I really want to bring up is Enigma. Enigma is tied for second most contested with the Undying with 98, contested in 87.5% of games.
With a let's also say this with almost 70% win rate.
70% win rate
Like that's
overall.
ridiculous.
It's the hero's nuts. The meta is a little bit slower now, which makes the alt that much better. Um, Still provides a tower push. Like the hero's just good.
Mm-hmm.
Like it feels good. Once again, there's not a lot of things that are really going to cancel the shit that's like being played right now. Like Clockwork's being picked a decent amount, like 16 most picked. Um, but outside of that, like when's the last time you've seen a fucking silencer? Like you don't see those. And sure you're gonna see some Rubiks, but like silencer right now hasn't even been picked or banned so far. Silencer, Bara, Pugna, OD, and Meepo have yet to be picked or banned. Your boy Axe hasn't been picked yet either.
He hasn't been picked. No.
Yes.
Poor boy. Tinker
Yes.
hasn't, which is what I'm happy to see.
Has been banned though. Has been banned.
Been banned once.
Has been banned once. Um but yeah, you can get a pretty good understanding. Like Axe is kind of underwhelming. And it feels that way when you play it. Like
It does.
in 80-12 right now, especially in Challenger League, there is a ton of people picking Axe. And it just gets shit on. Like it's a hero that okay, you need Vanguard, you need Blink. And if you have a good lane, you can get that at 16 minutes or 14 minutes. It's like it's so long to be able to do anything. It doesn't dominate most lanes. Like there's just too much magic damage from the 5. And like like even your carries, a lot of them can do some form of magic damage or harass like to the X. Like it's hard. Like you got to cut, but like all the carries being picked right now can clear waves so fast. Like cutting is hard.
Yep, and it's
So
you can't dive because everybody just TPs and then kills you. Like if you have a good organized team, it just doesn't feel good. Like I'm telling you, somebody who played it all the way up from like legend in tournament all the way up to divine. Like, dude, the difference is very stark. It's not about like the hero; it's about the team you're playing against. Axe can pop off if you're playing against bad people, but if you're not, like, dude, you're really easily just shut down, and like you can have a
Axe
great start.
is always one of those heroes as well. When you have a dominant Axe player, then the Axe can pop off.
Mm-hmm.
But there's too many other heroes that can pop off without having to have a dominant player. So it's like, why even pick it?
No, you're exactly right. Like dead on with saying that. Like you don't need to, there's better heroes that can pop off with. That'll be consistently better throughout the entire game. Now, don't get me wrong, Axe's kit is strong, right? Like BKB piercing stun that has on like a 7-second cooldown and like a spin that goes through BKB and is pure damage. Like it's a lot of good stuff on him, but he just is not, the kit altogether just doesn't work. And like you said, you need BKB, you need Blade Mail, you need Vanguard, you need this. Like, and it's just like, dude, at some point you just need too many items, and that sucks.
So let's kind of move on a bit. 82L update. So we're on week 2, about to start week 3. Actually, my team plays here in a couple hours for the first games for week 3 against Five Guys One Cup. It is getting to be a pretty hype season. Just in general, like the amount of content that's being put out right now is more than I've seen in previous seasons. Like people are super hype about this season. A lot of people like breaking down games, a lot of information. Spyroars come out with like some of the top like series or plays and like the history of 82L as of recent, and it is really, really cool stuff. Pot of Sins doing okay. We
Indeed.
have, it seems like right now we're either like one of the best teams in the league or one of the worst teams in the league.
Never mind that. We want to
Yeah,
hear, the
never mind
people
that.
want to hear from the returning champion, the returning captain of Pot of Greed. How's the season feeling so far, bud?
It's feeling. It's different being in Challenger League for sure. We've been a part of Intermediate League slash Divine League slash Champions League for what now? 5 seasons we were like five
Something like
seasons in a
that.
row.
Yeah.
And going down or going from that, which is historically Ancient 3 was the lowest, to a Legend 1, it's a lot different. Um, the games are slower, it feels. There's some things are like you kind of wonder what the hell people are doing. Um, but in the same sense, like you do get to see like there are some guys in the league who just straight up ball out. We get to play against one being Havoc here in a couple hours, who is just a badass position one. It's interesting. It is for sure interesting. I'm enjoying it thoroughly. Like playing position 3, I like so much more than playing position 1. Um, I do appreciate that the first game that we had casted was reference to. I missed the first game. The second game, picking Brewmaster, and then making the caster was Yank or Key, and she made the comment of saying, "Well, this is just old pot of greed shit with Welshie.
The
Just Welshie's
tradition
not
stays
playing.
alive,
The
dude.
tradition stays." And popped the fuck off with it, and that felt fucking great. Um, but no, it's interesting. Like it's fun. It's harder to draft almost, I think. Um, sometimes you're sitting in there in the draft and you wonder what the hell people are thinking. And like, why are they doing this? Well, there's not always a rhyme or reason, like, because a lot of it's just respect bands. Last week when we played Savage Sabres, they had the same first phase and second phase bands with 2 different drafts. And they were all respect bands. You don't see that in Champions League at all.
Oh yeah.
Like there's a rhyme or reason, like they'll let you play your best hero because they have answers for it. And here it's just like, oh, they're good at this, don't let them play it. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's weird. Um, but overall, like our team's feeling good. Like we have a lot of room for improvement. And we talked about this, and it's the same old shit of we want to be a week 1 playoff team, not a week 1 group stage team. So we're getting better. We played the former champions of Challenger League from last season. First game lost in a close one. They're in control pretty much the entire game, but it was fairly close. Went almost an hour.
Jesus.
And then the second game, we just took it to them. Ran a different style and all that. But I really like playing with our team. I mean, when you have Nick and Snow like on a team, like it's just sometimes you almost get too clowny. Because we like to joke and stay loose.
I was
And
gonna
that's
say the
kind of
comms are never
always
quiet,
been
right? Like
no.
that's a problem
And
sometimes.
we talk through and we analyze. In all honesty, of all the pot of greed teams that I've been a part of, I've yet to have a team that takes getting better more seriously than this one.
Awesome.
We are constantly breaking down replays, constantly going over laning stages, talking things through. Everyone is looking at like scouting stuff, giving like opinions. Everyone's engaged during the draft. Everyone is looking for ways to get better. And we've had some seasons, that hasn't quite been the case.
Yeah.
So it's refreshing to have that, like feel like the work that you put in is actually going like to a positive place.
Oh, I completely understand. It's interesting though because like for you, like it must be a bit of a jar to go from like playing not only against with, and you say this a little bit, but like not only against people like that, but with people that are like you went from playing with like a bunch of divines to which you played very comparably and fucking very respectably, but you went from playing in that to
I
playing
played
with
great in the
archons and
playoffs,
legends.
man.
Yeah, you did. You really did.
I played great in the playoffs.
to playing with a bunch of archons and legends. So I just think it's interesting. Like it must be an adjustment for you to just have to go back to like telling people like, no, you don't need to ward there. No, don't go up to lane and do that. Like, no, focus on last hits. You fucking.
Well, I never have to tell Josh or XCal to focus on last hits.
Yeah. Man will build Midas and Radiance in the same game.
He will build Midas on any hero always. Um, and then like I have Nick, right? Like Nick played with us in our second place finish in intermediate league.
Yeah.
He's supporting me, so I rarely have to say anything to him about what to do. Like he has a very good understanding of like the way the game needs to be played. He's aggressive like I am. Lanes have been fairly easy so far. Last week I had 18 denies in I think game two, and game one I had 19 denies. Like it's lanes are fairly simple. Like um, getting us on the same page though, like in the mid game sometimes is getting people to understand let's not run around all over the place and let's actually like play in the controlled area, protect our wards, protect our vision. We have an understanding of what objectives we want to take and when we want to take them, and then sticking to that. Uh, the focus, I like the thing that I noticed the most is these are all good players on our team. I have so much confidence in every single player that's on pot agreed. Uh, the losing focus is like the biggest difference that I noticed. Like when you're playing in Champions League, you are engaged 100% through the entire game. And if for a second you lose focus, and you're punished.
Yep.
Um, People lose focus on both teams all the time in Challenger. And like they're not engaged. Like they can make the ridiculous plays. Like they can make the real quick like blink outs and force people to miss abilities and things like that. Like really good reactions. It's just the staying focused is the biggest thing. Um
So let's talk about this then. You talked a little bit about how drafting was even different, but like, what are the mistakes you're seeing? Like, what are the big differences in kind of play you're seeing besides the focus? Like, what are the differences you're seeing in how like people are playing between Challenger and like the Divine League?
so
Champion.
draft wise in
Yeah.
Challenger, I see so many 24 picks go to waste. It's like they don't fully understand your 24 pick needs to win you the game. And they'll pick it into counters, not carry. And a lot of times it gets blown the fuck up. I see a lot of people trying to get too cute with picks, um, of running really odd things. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Um, Flexing is really shitty in this league too.
Not surprising.
Um, because like they'll put a flex pick in the first phase, but then their immediate pick like shows the hand.
So let me ask you this: are people just consistently always leaving 24 pick for their mid? Is that like a thing that everyone's doing? Are they just constantly doing that?
Last week was position one.
Fair enough.
I've seen I think a little bit more position 124 picks than I have seen mids. Um, yeah, it's balanced. 20. It's rarely not the mid or the carry.
Do you feel that
Um,
the meta, I would say, of like playing in Challenger is different than it was in Champions? Like, do you feel like the whole meta of the game, like, do you need your pos one to pop off? Do you play a super competitive guy? Like, what would you say is like the difference in like the whole general play style for you between the two?
well, meta wise, you see more heroes. I feel like in Challenger because they can make anything work.
Thank God, man.
Or not Challenger. Champions.
Oh man, I was hoping you'd be like, oh dude,
Yeah,
Challenger,
sorry.
everybody's popping off, everyone's playing everything. You're seeing Omni Knight
You,
pos ones out here.
no, you see a few like few teams that run different things. Like Gren will run anything in the one. Like they cheese all over the place. Like it's I dread when I have to play them because drafting against them, it's like don't use a ban on standard heroes. When they play standard heroes, then it's very, very much like they're probably gonna lose.
Mm.
Um, but they'll run like silencers, like silencer ones. They'll run like Visage and Arc Warden and Lone Druid and like a lot of Meepo in this league. Like
I love it,
there's
man.
there's there's so much cheese. Like
There's
it's
there's a hero that I
ridiculous.
want to see even make a comeback in the pro league. Did Meepo even just to bounce back real quick because you just said
Unpicked,
that and it
unbanned.
yeah okay so that's why like that sorry just I wanted to pop back there real quick like Meepo I want to see back just like in a professional sense because everybody gets hyped when a Meepo's picked in a game
The
because
other thing that I've seen too, now that I think about it, like
mm,
since we're talking about like meta stuff like that, it's a lot slower to pick up on the meta.
just
Um,
generally
yeah, generally, like teams are just so much slower on picking up on the meta than what your champion league teams are. Like they can dissect the meta in a week. Uh, champions is like sometimes you're seeing shit that's good like 2 or 3 patches ago, and you wonder why the hell they're picking those things. Um, the builds are like builds are the other big thing. Like builds sometimes I just don't understand them. The most foreign item in for the record, I do challenger content with Gambit every Sunday. We'll be putting out this week's tonight on Gambit stream.
tune in guys
Uh, but Vessel is such a foreign item.
oh it's such a good
And
item
there's so many like pudges and like death prophets and um like necros and like there's alchemists like and just vessel is never a thought. And it's like you have to have these if you're ever going to kill them.
I feel like in Challenger, people also just forget that Shiva's an item. Like maybe I'm wrong about that, but I feel like Shiva's an item that people forget, and just, it feels like it dunks
Shiva's
on
and
people.
Lotus, man.
Even
Shiva's
though
and
they're
Lotus.
amazing, both of them are
Hmm.
amazing items.
But no one forgets the damage items.
Nobody forgets Shadowblade.
Nobody
Forgets
no one.
Shadowblade.
Oh, that's the other thing. There's so many shadow blades. We played I can't remember if this was our battle cup. I think this is our battle cup. We were playing an LD2L stack in battle cup yesterday with pretty much our full roster. Our one was different. And they had 2 Shadowblades built on their team and a Marana.
Oh, bro, why?
It's interesting. Like I just
I mean, I flame teams just for having two heroes that want or are invisible. Like if you have a bounty hunter Marana, I'm mad. I'm like, dude, why?
yeah. Like you just grief the other's game
Yeah.
because like if they didn't have that shit before, they fucking do now.
It's like
Like, you know what I
congratulations,
mean?
you've just tripled my value out of this. Like you've tripled the value of me having dust and sentries by doing this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's interesting for sure. Like it's fun though. This is also one of the most fun I've ever had, like since playing like season 28 and 29. This is probably the most fun that I've had.
Get crushing, dude.
Uh yeah, and maybe it's just like playing position 3 and all that stuff, but like it's a blast playing in this league. And everyone's so nice, like for the most part. Like
Oh yeah.
there's always that one guy. And like for example, in our week 1, we had a guy, I'm not gonna say his name, um, that just gets on and just starts shit talking every single team and all this stuff and just wants the attention and um it's like what are you doing? Because then he gets 2-0'd. Like he like just gets absolutely pissed on in the worst way uh in his first week. And then just is silent. Like if you're gonna shit talk, like make sure you can back it up first thing. But I do appreciate like another thing is going like when you're on the Discord, like 82L's Discord, um, there are these like challenger talks and champion league talks and all this stuff, like hidden or not hidden threads, but threads basically. And in the past, the challenge or the champion league one was just like people putting emojis and that was it. Like no one ever talked to anybody.
Yep.
Everyone talks to everyone in challenger league.
Because that's where all the conversation was. We learned that when we joined, when we did
Yeah,
contender. Like contender is where all the content is, where all the players are.
it's I mean it's fun and it's not even like that anymore though because like if you look at champion league has 18 teams, conqueror has 12, warrior has 14, challenger has 18, um Voyager's 10, and Explorer is 10. Like the Champion League is just as big as Challenger League now. But everyone wants to talk. Like there is some trash talking, but it's like obvious fun trash talking. Um, like there was a post that was funny, where like a guy was trying to um, confirm that their game time was going to be the same exact time, or it was going to be standard time, and guy replies, "Ready to get 2-0'd by your stack at standard time. See you then." it's it's funny. And like we're playing Five Guys One Cup, and Spanish Inquisition is their captain, and dude's just the nicest guy in the world. And just talking to him and all those things, and like the Breaking Ben guys, who, if you don't know Breaking Ben, they won Explorer League last season, and now they're playing in two leagues up, in the Challenger, and popping the fuck off. They're 4-0 right now, I believe. Um, and they're like, if you can get past playing them with all the pauses, they're actually a decent amount of like decent group of guys. Um, and they're a lot of fun, like especially like doing content and stuff for that league, and then like saying, "Oh, you guys keep doubting us, you keep doubting us," and then like week 2, I said that they were going to 2-0, and they're like, "Well, shit, now we're not."
Jesus.
But yeah, it's a fun league to be a part of for sure.
So this,
There's not really a team that there's one team that I really dislike, and then one that I just dislike because of the player's name. But
fair
like
enough.
outside of that, it's I like every single like group in here.
So there's something that you kind of talked to me about earlier. It's called save your friend syndrome. You want to elaborate on that a little bit?
Um, yeah, this is another thing that I keep seeing. And like the biggest part. So there's always like it's bad to go one by one by one by one. Um, but especially in this bracket, and it gets worse the farther down you go, is the save your friend syndrome of somebody dies. So they're just going to keep going in one by one and trying to save the past 5. And so the 3's going to die. And then the 4 is going to try to save the 3. And then the 4 dies. And then the 1's going to try to save the 4. And then the 1 dies. It's like, it just snowballs. Like, and there's so many games that I feel like are just, they're turning points because this shit happens. It's fun. Like, yeah, I don't know what else to say other than it's a good time. But I think we're gonna stop it here for the day, huh?
I think that's fine with me. I think it's been a good podcast.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun breaking down the qualifiers, and hopefully next week we have a little bit more to talk about, and then we'll have a clear picture of who's going to be in the regional or the last chance qualifiers.
Getting hyped for last chance qualifiers, bro. That's going to be such a slugfest. I can't say it
Oh,
enough.
it's gonna be
It's
so much fun.
fun.
I can't wait. So, with that being said, thank you guys for tuning in. Can't wait to see you guys next week. Adios.
Adios.